All right, here is our Terran player who has gone very far in Code S previously. His TVT has been really lacking though lately, and he's fallen all the way down to Code A. He is
FXO-SC.
FXO-SC.
Got to play maybe a different style this game to keep up with TaeJa.
That's right. And speaking of which, here is our blue Terran player spawning the opposite corner of the map. Slayer's player playing the Slayer style.
Slayer's TaeJa.
Slayer's TaeJa. Spamming it up.
Look at that blue shirt. Does it mean anything?
With the red
Is it related to the blue flame Hellions that Slayer's players keep using?
That's why their uniforms are blue, man.
TaeJa spawning as the blue Terran.
SC is red up here. Gonna go for a barracks first. And TaeJa has actually gone for a refinery first.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, on this map, if you go refinery first, you're almost 120% safe from any sort of early aggression that might punish you because, I mean, it's Tal'Darim Altar. They are at cross positions, even if they were close positions, though. The guesswork that would go into doing some sort of Maka Rags type of all-in type of thing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Occasionally people do that on this map, on the macro maps. It's like mix things up. You go for a cheese on a map that's hard to cheese on, and then they're not expecting it. You can catch them going, like Command Center first or something. But anyway, so TaeJa, his barracks is almost completed. We're going to see if he's going to go into a factory, since he's going to have enough gas. There it is.
Yeah, of course he's going to go factory. But the question next is, will he go for fast blue flame or will he go for Banshees? On this map, Banshees are not as good as blue flame, in my opinion, because, I mean, as an opener, you get the blue flame first, you can do harassment, but there's a lot of potential for map control with those. Whereas the Banshee doesn't really gain any benefits for its quick flight, because the map doesn't really have any quick air paths you can take. You have to go just as far, if not further, than the Hellions have to go across the map.
Well, TaeJa has made a second gas now.
Yeah.
And his factory's about complete, so we're going to find out. But second gas, usually you don't need that second gas if you're going to be just doing Hellions.
Yep, and there's the starport.
Starport.
Going to be probably cloak Banshees, actually, not just regular Banshees. Not just regular Banshees, not just any old kind.
Yeah, unless
special ones.
Actually, well, we'll see if he does an add-on here soon. He could go for... Actually, I don't know what else he could go for, really.
Oh, there's a tech lab going down the barracks.
There's a tech lab.
But last time we saw him go quick gases, double gas, and then went just for blue flame anyway, so it's still possible.
Okay.
TVT is actually just so hard to predict because there's so many different things you can do. Now, SC is doing the exact same ability as last game. Reactor Hellions, an expansion behind it, and by the looks of it, we are going to have Banshees. Will we have Cloak? We're about to find out.
He does have enough gas in the bank. There we go, gas. Oh! SCV. Did that SCV see the starport?
Saw the starport, but no tech lab.
Okay.
But given that he saw that the barracks and the factory were floating, it's pretty conclusive.
yeah, good point. So TaeJa knows he's been scouted, and he really is going to continue with this regardless.
Yeah.
Doesn't count so cloak or anything like that. And SC's starport is almost complete. He's probably going to get out of Viking and be pretty safe against these Banshees.
Yeah, his Viking will be out in time. He's going to be pretty safe. Doesn't have an engineering bay, so he's going to have to use scans. You will have that second command center into an orbital, most likely at the same time that the Banshee arrives as well. So he's going to have the ability to use double scans, but he doesn't want to. Either way, the Banshee is going to do a decent amount of damage. What I'd like to see at this point, though, is TaeJa to make a command center, because he's going to do that eventually. Now, the Hellions at the front are poking at that factory.
Factory can take it.
And the Hellions are going to have to leave, though.
Is he going to get that Hellion? Yes, gets a Hellion. But if SC had any doubts whatsoever in his mind about Banshees, they have been settled. But he does have a Viking almost out, so he's going to be just fine. Cloak is about to finish, however. I think he has one scan, maybe two saved up.
He's got, right now in his main, he's got one scan saved, and this hasn't even used any of his scans as natural yet. Soon he's actually going to have about 3 scans.
Oh, yeah.
So he should be pretty fine against this. Blue Flame being researched for TaeJa back at home, so he wants to follow it up with Blue Flame. Now SC spots the Banshee, He's got even a turret going up at this point, and he's going to scan this immediately. Even the Marines shooting at it.
Yeah, I don't think that one scan will kill the Banshee, though.
Oh, just barely not.
Whoa, for a second it looked like it was going to veer back into that.
SC didn't finish the turret. If that turret had finished, he would have had enough vision to finish that Banshee.
Oh, man. Second Banshee coming in as well.
First one decloaked, it's
There's so many Hellions right outside of his base that TaeJa can't really move out and take that extra base. So he has built the command center. TaeJa takes an SCV, decides to go home. He's like, that's enough.
The Raven is out for SC as well.
Yeah.
But this Blue Flame Hellion follow-up could be good. He has to be very careful, though, of SC's Hellions, because he has so many of them that in certain cases, the engagement can still go in SC's favor, depending on how the Hellions line up, or how they don't.
Yeah. TaeJa, though, does have map control at this point, even though you would think that SC having a bunch of Hellions would do that. Obviously, the Banshees kind of trump that.
Yeah, they really do. There's still two Banshees out on the map. One of them, he's going to fly this one around.
He's actually just going to kill his own Banshee here.
Yeah, it's not going to do any damage whatsoever.
I'm not sure why he's just going to just fly his damaged Banshee into... Oh, he's just going to kill it there. Never mind. He's just chilling.
Yeah, both bases
watching for the
completely
third.
defended.
Okay, I thought he was going to like go in for more SCVs. I was like, this is not a good idea. But he's just going to watch for the third when that goes up, which is actually pretty smart.
Yeah, I like that choice.
Blue Flame actually being researched for SC now.
Yeah.
And Wolf's like over here trying to keep the set from falling on him.
You guys know about the set that like falls over sometimes, but on my side today it's like actually like falling off. It couldn't fix it. Now I fixed it. It's all good. Came to the rescue. It's all good now.
More gas is going up for TaeJa. He's got that expansion going up. They're about even in supply. There are about even in harvesters, so pretty even all around at this point. And then it just comes down to the unit composition, which at this point, let's see, we got some Banshees, which at this point I'd say, well, it depends on how it engages actually. TaeJa's got more Banshees. He has a Raven of his own actually.
TaeJa has definitely got a better composition because you know the Vikings are going to come into play a little bit, but the Blue Flame Hellions will just clean up the Marines, and then everything goes crazy from there. The Raven can drop PDD to help out as well, and this Banshee getting a little too close does now get controlled well.
And it's going to get a few kills here. Marines are standing right next to it. Like, I don't actually want to deal with that.
But he doesn't quite have vision of it yet. Did get away. Those Marines didn't feel like it. They're a little busy. They're preoccupied.
They're like, dude, that's a spaceship that can shoot missiles at us. You want us to go attack it? Are you crazy?
Yeah, they weren't too into that idea.
No, man.
Like, it's also invisible. Like, we're shooting these little bullets out of an assault rifle at this flying machine. Like, is this really gonna work?
Shouldn't, you know what, come to think of it, shouldn't Marines technically be able to, like, shoot at cloaked Banshees without being able to see them? Like, if they know where they are?
Well, what if they don't know where they are?
There's, like, missiles coming out of midair.
I mean, it's in the sky, man. It's kind of hard.
I would, like, aim, I'd be like Kirk, and I'd just aim for the spot where the missiles came from.
Like, if there was an invisible plane, like, dropping bombs on you, like a bomber in real life, and you had like an assault rifle if you're aiming up, do you think you would hit it? I don't think so, man.
Well, I would if it was like a hovercraft that was staying stationary and it's like, oh, well, the missiles are coming from the same spot every time. I'll just shoot right there.
I guess maybe mole trap.
I would maybe hit like half the time though, so maybe Marines should be able to. Anyway.
Are you gonna get into
this isn't Warcraft.
Are you gonna get into the Brood War thing with the high ground and the 75% chance?
No. It reminds me though of Warcraft when you could do attack ground with like your siege stuff.
I actually never played Warcraft.
Or was that, maybe I'm thinking of another game actually, but I think you could attack ground with your catapults and just like shell a certain location. Anyway,
well, Hellions are engaging in the middle of the map, and SC definitely losing a lot more there. All of his Hellions are bunched up in one group.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Banshee found them, and then things got nasty. Ooh, things are getting really nasty.
Things are getting really nasty. SC has fallen almost 20 supply behind at this point, and he's behind by half in the siege tank count as well.
Yeah, he's just doing the same style we saw him do last game. which is an old style and, in my opinion, a worse style. When the game goes late, you just can't use those Marauders anymore if your opponent has enough siege tanks. If you're going to go for this style, you have to be more aggressive early on, you have to do drops, you have to be mobile. Yeah. You can't just sit in your base and make Marauders. That's what you do with tanks. You sit in your base and make tanks, and then you patiently move out. You can't do that with Marauders. That doesn't make sense.
You can't do it unless you catch them unsieged, but in order to do that, you generally need air control, and SC has 2 Vikings to TaeJa's 7, so he's not going to have air control either.
Well, he catches 1 tank, but the rest of these tanks are perfectly prepared. There's a ton of Hellions to buffer as well here, and the problem with this style is, I mean, it's just, in the late game it doesn't work. I mean, I've said it so many times.
Why don't you say it again, Wolf?
I'm sure you guys get it by now, but it
Hey, Wolf, in the late game, does this work?
No! I gotta go tell SC, man.
Go knock on his booth.
I mean, it's something that can work, but you shouldn't rely upon your opponent being on siege and you just hoping to catch him. It's not like it's not a good way to play.
Yeah, right.
I mean, in the early game,
work sort of sometimes.
And like less than 6 siege tank count, like 6 to 8 is like the danger zone. Anything less than 6, your Marauder build is like fine. But when the siege tank count is 12,
no, the Raven drops a PDD to defend itself, but it's not enough.
Yeah, there's way too many Vikings. That's 8 Vikings, man.
It's 8 Vikings. And yeah, again, it's like this. It could work. It can work if you can force your opponent to unsiege with Banshees or drops or something like that. But you need air control to do that, and SC is not pursuing air control.
He's got 22 Marauders, 23 Marauders out in the middle of the map. But that's a lot of Marauders. But
that is a lot of Marauders.
When you have 1 tank for every 2 Marauders, you're usually okay. And look at how many Hellions this is. The Marauders can never close the distance anyways with this many Hellions.
That is a lot of Hellions.
TaeJa is just poking the units of SC, and I mean, not to talk badly of SC, but this game itself is very evident of how TVT is changing.
Hold that thought in the middle of the map. Large engagement, Marauders forced to fall back.
Marauders not even able to fire because of point defense drone.
SC has 0 tanks on the map, I think, right now.
He's got 1.
He's got 1.
Back at his natural.
And TaeJa has like infinity.
And this many Hellions can actually almost clean up this army on its own. SC trying to do what he can, but it's just not working, man.
And I'm actually not sure why he landed those Vikings, but
he just wanted to win the battle even more convincingly. They weren't doing anything. And now TaeJa up 40 supply. And this is the death of Bio and TVT. We're watching it here at the GSL.
Right here now.
I mean, we will not see this style again in 2 months. I don't think in 2 months' time this will have completely disappeared.
Well, it'll be something that people will like pull out to try and get like early game wins, and surprise and stuff like that.
But this style as a main like form of unit composition, you will never see again.
I think it'll take a little bit longer for it to wear out, but you're right. I think people are gonna like watch these games and be like, oh.
They're gonna watch this game and be like, old school, man. You remember GSL August?
Remember GSL August when people were still making Bio against Mech?
Yeah, man. And that siege up line behind the natural of SC is quite devastating. Meanwhile, Hellions running into the 3rd base of SC, killing a ton of SCVs. A drop did go into TaeJa's base as well.
Yeah, TaeJa's losing some stuff at his 3rd base, but he's taking a 4th, and he's owning SC's natural right now.
Yeah, he lost a lot of tanks there because SC dropped some Marauders, but that was because the Vikings were away.
That orbital actually burns down at the natural.
This is looking like pretty much checkmate. It actually was checkmate about 5 minutes ago when SC made only Marauders.
Anyway, but SC, I mean, you got to hand it to him. We're kind of like saying, oh, his style is old and all that. But he has been playing rather well in general. He hasn't been making like huge mistakes.
Yeah.
He's been controlling as well as he can with his unit composition. And, you know, he's been keeping up. He was actually ahead in supply for a while and is still not that far behind in supply. He's about 30 supply behind.
I mean, you could tell he's planned this. He did the same build both games. He wanted to make this work. He's practiced it. But TaeJa, his plays with the Slayers team that always plays the style. That was a lucky little scan there, and those SCVs are going to get out of there. And you know, I'm not trying to be too hard on this. I mean, he's my teammate, but this style is just falling out of this style's falling out of style. It's no longer stylish. You know, it's old.
Nothing wrong with wearing clothes that are out of style, though.
And like,
being out of style is not always bad.
well, TaeJa's like a hipster, like SC. Next time he like tries to do it, and he's like, "No, I was doing mech before it was mainstream." I mean, look at that. Did you guys see that tank army right there?
That is.
Look at that, man. That's the future.
Well, this is a sci-fi game.
That's the future of this sci-fi game.
All right. Anyway, SC is really struggling to hold on here.
That's like a
He
C.
does have. He's like I said. He's hoping he can catch TaeJa unsieged, and he's like staying in the game just in case TaeJa like doesn't siege up. But he's actually doing really methodical push where he's like sieging up at least a few tanks. Like sometimes if you catch him unsieged, you could chase him down and he just doesn't have time to siege up.
Yeah.
But if you have a few tanks sieged in the back all the time, you can always fall back to those.
Yeah. Well, SC's going to do a good thing here. He's moving a ton of units to the right, avoiding the main army of TaeJa. He may try to do some sort of base trade, and that's one thing he can maybe hope for because his army is much more mobile. I think that's exactly what he's going to do, which is a really smart move, but TaeJa is knocking on the front door. He's not selling Boy Scouts popcorn. He's not selling Girl Scout cookies.
No, he's not, man. He's not selling insurance.
No, man. He's selling Arclight cannons barreling down on top of that command center.
And he's giving away them for free. He says, here, take a bunch of seashells.
He's trying to convert. He's knocking on the door. He's trying to convert SC to mech TVT. That's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing, man. And I don't think it's going to work with that many siege tanks in the back.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's
nice
SC.
little Marauder bombs there, but
GG.
GG coming from SC and Slayers TaeJa 2-0ing SC, FXO SC.
Yeah.
Who, I gotta be honest with you, I was kind of thinking it was not going to be that one-sided.
I thought SC
I would have picked SC to win, to be honest with you.
I did pick him, man. He was on my Liquibet, and now I'm like,
oh man,
I was like ranked 60 this morning. That's gonna change right now.
Now you're like 120.
I know. I'm so proud of my Liquibet. If you guys don't use Liquibet, I recommend doing it. It's a cool way to brag about how much you know about StarCraft and how good you are at predictions. There's no real money involved, and it's on TeamLiquid.net. You make an account there, of course. Most of you guys probably have an account on Team Liquid anyways. And at the top right, you see a little yellow number. That's your Liquibet. And of course, you pick who you predict is going to win the game, and then you get a ranking, and it ranks you with everyone else who plays. And if you're like in the top 100, like me, I'm like, you like feel good. You're like, there's a lot of people who play this game, man. I'm actually like really smart. That's how I feel. I'm just like praising myself right now.
While we're bragging, I was actually ranked like 10th or 8th or something in Liquibet once. I was pretty proud of that.
Brood War Liquibet's pretty hard too.
That was back when I watched literally every single Brood War game, so I just knew like, and I would go through and I would actually strategize and look at the lineups. This was back when they had lineups and be like, oh, I think they're gonna win game 1 and game 2 and game 3, and then the ace match will. So and then like something tragic happened and like someone lost the Pro League finals and I lost like 9 points and I was like ranked 400th or something like that. It was sad.
Liquibet's intense, man.
I would have won if I'd gotten like the Pro League finals and like the OSL finals right. I would have won that season, but it was just those two.
It's okay, Moltrap.
Anyway,
it's all right. You just got to get back into Liquibet 2.
Yeah,
for StarCraft 2.
I was gonna do this season like when it changed, but it didn't change at like a sensical time, like when the season ended. As far as I don't know, maybe it did like last season, but like I didn't catch the.
You
transition.
never know when it's gonna change, man.
I didn't catch the transition. I was hoping I was gonna like watch a headline about the previous season, but I missed it because I was packing for like 2 weeks solid, or something.
That's okay.
Anyway, maybe next season.
There's always next time.
But there's always next season for SC.
Yeah.
Because he is now eliminated from Code A for this season. He's not going to the up and down matches. He is not going to have a chance to get back into Code S. He has to wait until next season to play again. He is still in Code A, though, so he is not eliminated from the GSL. But Slayers TaeJa is going to advance to the round of 8. He's got a spot in the up and down matches at the very least, and he has a spot, of course, to continue on down the way. Of course, the winner of Code A does get an immediate spot in Code S. The winner overall doesn't have to go to the up and down matches. They just get straight Code S status. And so that's the real prize here. Whoa, excuse me, here in the Code A.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the prize in Code A in general is, you know, they're playing in Code A. They're not like, oh, I want to play this tournament because I want to win like a few $100s. They're like, I want to get in Code S because that's where the prestige is. I mean, the Code S is the most prestigious StarCraft tournament in the world.
Yeah.
So
The Codeas are like a big, awesome qualifier, but
it's definitely a hugely competitive tournament regardless. But we're going to take a break before we come back for some more. Come back for Dom Regu versus Smart. Just a couple.